Hello there, everybody, and welcome to Harrah's Hoosier Park as we are ready to take another step on the road to the Derby. Michael Chamberlain and Jacob Reinheimer here in the Dan Patch studio. And Jacob, last week, the race at Gulfstream, again, you had a second place finish, so that gives you a total of 6 points through the first 2 weeks. And meanwhile, I've got enough donuts to start my own bakery, but we're going to see if we can fix that this week as we're going up the state in Florida to Tampa Bay for the $250,000 Sam F. Davis at a mile and a 16th at a very competitive field of 10.
Yeah, we're each trying to get over our own humps, right? I'm trying to get over the second-itis, and you're just trying to get on the board right now, and we're both going to go the same way.
I just need to get off to zero and get something going. That's right.
I think there's a good opportunity to do so. Really interesting field put together for the Sam F. Davis. Nice field of 10, so plenty of options you can go for this contest if you want to go with some of the chalk like we're going to go with in this spot, or if you want to try to find a price and make up some ground in those point standings for the road to the Derby. But I think there's a lot of different angles to the Sam F. Davis.
Yeah, and Tampa Bay is usually a different kind of track to handicap just in terms of how the races sometime develop there. So it's actually going to be interesting to see how this race will play out with, as we said, a very competitive field of 10 as we take a look at our selections. And we do agree on the same horse in here. That's the 7 Poster by Munnings out of the Tappet mare. Trainer is Owen Hardy, the owner Godolphin Stables, who have still not won the Derby in the years and years of trying. They are certainly going to have a very nice contingent this year. I think they've got maybe 3 or 4 very stout candidates to go in here, and this is certainly one of them. Undefeated in 3 consecutive and won the Remsen at Aqueduct, Grade 2, last time out on December 7th.
And that Remsen came up a lot last year on the road to the Derby. That was really the first time we got a good look at Sierra Leone in that Remsen. Similar with Posters, that was his first start on the dirt, stretched out to a mile and an eighth, and I thought was very, very impressive. Only won by a nose, but I thought it was interesting. Once he cleared to the lead at the top of the stretch, I thought maybe he let up a little bit. You saw his head come up a little bit, like maybe he just got a little bit lost on the front, but then when he got challenged late in the race there, I thought he came right back and battled right to the wire. So very, very impressed by Poster. I like the pedigree here. A son of Munnings, who of course was third to Rachel Alexandra and the 09 Haskell, and he's out of a Tappet mare, so I think he's built for this. I like the upside on Poster.
And as you mentioned, the first time on the dirt was the Remsen. You noticed, though, I said the horse was undefeated, 3 starts, the first 2 on the turf. And then that was a very big leap forward going on the dirt at Aqueduct, as far as the speed figures are concerned, because the first 2 were 63 at Ellis Park on the turf there, and then a 69 at Keeneland on the turf there, both victories, and then jumped up to an 83 in that last effort in the Remsen on the main track at Aqueduct. Also, let's not ignore the fact this horse has a bull at work on February 2nd at Tampa. 5 furlongs, 101 and 3. I think this horse should be 4 for 4 coming off of this race on Saturday. But again, there are some definite other contenders.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, too. Flavian Pratt was aboard in that Remsen. He's going to go elsewhere here. He lands on the 3. John Hadcock, who we both use underneath for trainer Brad Cox, has gotten off to a good start on this road to the Derby. So going to be interesting there. But like I said, I'm a big fan of what we've seen so far from Poster.
And as someone who has already tried horses that have yet to go around 2 turns in this sequence of races and not come up very well, I was a little hesitant with John Hancock, but the fact that Pratt did elect to take that horse over Poster certainly should be noted as we come to Saturday. The second choice for me is the 6 Owen Almighty by Speightstown, a Breeders' Cup Sprint winner out of a Bayern mare, and that is a Breeders' Cup Classic winner. This horse is adding blinkers for this particular start. Did cross the line first in the Pasco at Tampa on January 11th, but was disqualified and placed 5th after coming in at the 3/8 mark and ended up getting disqualified there as a less than even money favorite. Irad Ortiz Jr. rode in that last race and will be aboard again.
And I do think this is a good spot for Owen Almighty. Thought it was interesting. I saw a Blood Horse article where trainer Brian Lynch said, he's not sure about the 1.25 mile classic distance for this horse moving forward, but he thinks he should be able to handle 2 turns just fine. And the additional blinkers will be good because you have to imagine he just lost focus a little bit when he interfered in that last time out and got disqualified, but otherwise looked much the best in that spot.
And this will be the first time around 2 turns in 4 starts for Owen Almighty. The one race at a mile was at Churchill Downs, which of course is a 1-turn mile up in Louisville. So I think, again, the distance question is certainly going to be one that we're going to see if this one gets answered. And the other part of that, too, is if you look at the past performances with Owen Almighty, went to the lead and tried to basically stay on the whole way in that last race. But prior to that had come from mid-pack, maybe just off the pace. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how they play this race with the 6 Owen Almighty, whether they attempt to gun to the front or they elect to try to take back a little and maybe run at the pace.
Yeah, and was game. He had to dig in because Naughty Rascal had him kind of dead to rights turning for home, and Owen Almighty still turned him away, even despite being disqualified, of course, after the fact. But still thought that was a very, very gritty effort by Owen Almighty.
Second choice for you. Third choice for me is the 2 Treaty of Rome for trainer Chad Brown by Uncle Mo out of a Montjou mare. Certainly think this horse could come up big on the turf if they ever did try with that lineage there. But back-to-back races at a mile. Went a winner at Aqueduct on December 7th. Broke the maiden, as a matter of fact, on the day that Poster won the Remsen. And then was second in the Mucho Macho Man to Guns Loaded at Gulfstream on January 4th, who then subsequently ended up running last, I believe, last week in the Holy Bull. With that added weight of me being on the pick there, so that certainly didn't help Guns Loaded. But Treaty of Rome gets Dylan Davis aboard here, and was aboard for the second at Gulfstream last time out. And I think this one certainly, if you're looking, I don't think you're going to get a big price on this one, but certainly if we think the 7 is going to be the favorite in here, this one could certainly be second or third choice.
And I think a lot of folks are going to hold Guns Loaded performance in the Holy Bull kind of against Treaty of Rome in the spot. I think, remember, looking back at the Holy Bull last week, I wasn't very high on Guns Loaded. I thought he was pretty tired at the end of that Mucho Macho Man, but Treaty of Rome, I still thought had a lot of go at the end of that, and I think he'll stretch out just fine. A mile and 16th going from that Mucho Macho Man for Treaty of Rome, gets the post edge on the likes of Poster and Owen Almighty, who you think are going to want to go from this outside. So I like Treaty of Rome. Chad Brown, I trust him in this spot. So I think there's a lot of upside, especially if some people are going to kind of jump off after what Guns Loaded did in the Holy Bull.
So we do have the same top 4 here. Is there anyone else you think might maybe pop at a price in this field?
I am going to be curious about Naughty Rascal, of course, trainer Gerald Bennett. 9 training titles at Tampa Bay Downs. He knows how to win there better than most. And Naughty Rascal, I thought it was a very good second to Owen Almighty. Another one I read a good story on as he preps for this. They're trying to get him ready for that Tampa Bay Derby, so didn't think they pushed him all that much last time out. They're just trying to tune him up for this spot and get him into that Tampa Bay Derby because they think this is a Derby caliber horse. So I will be curious to see if he takes another step forward.
Horse I think I'm also interested in, and maybe a little bit of a long shot, is the 9 Smokin' Boy. Adding blinkers. This horse is by Catholic Boy, who won the Travers at a mile and a quarter during one of the summers at Saratoga, not too far in the past, but did win a Group 1 last out on December 8th by a widening 9 1/4 lengths. Now, obviously, you don't know what the competition is, given, I believe it's a Camarero, the track that this one was at, but the horse that did finish second in each of the 2 victories that this horse put up at Camarero did then come back to subsequently win the next race. So certainly a horse to keep an eye on there, and you get Paco Lopez aboard, and that's never anything that's a bad thing.
For sure.
So as we take a look at these races as we continue on the road to the Derby, the Sam F. Davis coming up. We do have the same top 4 and the same top pick in the 7 Poster. And the other question we got to answer this week is who you got in the Super Bowl?
Super Bowl, I don't think you're going to beat the Chiefs. I think they're destined for the three-peat. The NFL's already gotten the verbiage. They can get that from Pat Riley now. I see that. So you got to imagine that bodes well for the Chiefs, given how some of their games have gone. So I'm going to trust Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid to get it done.
Eagles 34-24. I like Philly. We'll see. I haven't been right sitting up here yet, but we'll see if we'll see if I can at least pick a football game as opposed to a horse race. But as it is, we are going to have one big race coming up here on Saturday at Harrah's Hoosier Park in the Sam F. Davis, the $250,000 part of the Road to the Derby Challenge. And, of course, if you're at one of our satellite sites, downtown Indianapolis or up in New Haven, you can take part in the contest as well. And, of course, it's done through the trackside kiosks, so be sure to get in for the race this coming Saturday.
Yeah, that'll be up starting at 11 a.m. on Saturday for the Sam F. Davis Stakes and the Road to the Derby. And even if you've missed the first 2 legs, there are still a lot of points out there, still a lot of great opportunities to jump in. Then, of course, after every race, we do have 3 random $25 winners who played along with our Road to the Derby contest. So even as you earn points towards that $2,000 grand prize, you can earn some money along the way, and still a lot of points out there because we have a long way to go.
That's right. We've got a lot of races still to come on the Road to the Derby Challenge, and of course we'll have videos for each and every one of them in advance of those races. So for Jacob Reinheimer, I'm Michael Chamberlain, wishing the best of luck to you all.